So you know how like in high school when you had to like draw a circle and then you had to draw this one little dot outside of the circle and draw like a two triangles to meet in that dot over there?
Louis, what are you talking about?
Hey guys, you're listening to Musical Tangents
Where we talk about anything and everything.
and music. Stay
Stay tuned.
tuned.
I have very mixed feelings about Maestro, but I know Bradley Cooper was like expecting to kind of like sweep. I feel like he was expecting to sweep the Oscars with the movie that he made, but bad timing.
I have a different theory for that one, but yeah, I do agree with you about the year and timing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the reasons why so many producers like determine the release date.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, if you release too early and you're up against like these other big movies that you just named, yeah, you're not going to stand a chance. You're not going to get as much popularity, which is another reason why like release date, timing, promotion. So, like, how many people have seen the promotion? To all the way down to how many movie theaters have you played in. All of that will probably play a part. With Maestro, I think people are torn about Bernstein, just in general. So, have you seen his interview about Beethoven 7?
No.
Okay, so there's an interview video of Bernstein talking about Beethoven's symphony, or Sixth Symphony and Seventh Symphony together. So
Mm-hmm.
Sixth Symphony, as you know, is like a
Mm-hmm.
pastoral symphony. So it has all these like programmatic narrative behind each movement and all that. He was kind of explaining that, and then he was talking about the second movement of the Seventh Symphony, which is, you know, like dun 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 dun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's simple melody. But there he kind of boldly claims that Beethoven was not a melodist. And he says there is nothing remarkable about Beethoven's music except his form. Therefore, the way he writes melody is not good. The way he does harmony is child's play, and the way he orchestrates things are too sloppy. So he needs to like they need a lot of work. Musicians always need a lot of work when they're putting together a Beethoven symphony, one of his symphonies. I don't know. And the comment section was going wild. I mean, nuts, right? Because
Yeah.
Beethoven is a god, so
How
you
dare
can't.
you say that
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Beethoven?
But one thing that I have to say about that is one, Bernstein's not completely wrong. So Beethoven does have a very conventional way of writing melody. He does say, however, what's interesting about Beethoven's melody is that it seems so dull and uninteresting, but then if he tries to alter the melody, say, it doesn't it's no longer great music. Meaning that every note that Beethoven wrote was perfect, and he even claims to that extent not even Mozart had that down. So Beethoven wrote perfect music and he struggled, right? So like he brings out these great points, but I mean people just can't get over the fact that Bernstein just called Beethoven not a great melodist, right? So I feel like that mixed with I mean, you know, I mean, you've seen the movie. I know from reading his autobiography, but he wasn't like the most likable person in real life. So they're
I
two
think that
different.
depends on the situation.
Right. I mean, I
I
was
think
about to say.
sometimes he like, from what I've gathered, he like could put up these fronts in certain
Yeah.
situations, and then other times he was like, I don't really care what anybody thinks. So I think he's very multifaceted.
I mean, he had ego, all right? Like, I'm not going to deny that.
I mean, you have to as the American conductor. I mean,
Yeah, I want to talk about
and
that
being
later,
told
too.
that, being
I know.
continuously
I
told you
know.
are the American conductor.
I know.
I mean, he did amazing things. So
I mean, I love listening to his interpretations, and whether that be through interviews or through him just conducting. But he struggled too. Uh, but his personal life, and some people just can't stand because they see the pretentious side of Bernstein when he's doing interviews, when he's doing teachings, and even if they might be flawed, he's never been corrected, and I think people hold grudges against that, right? So like, but I don't know. That's one of the reasons why like I don't think Maestro's failure to win, if you will, failure to win any Oscars, because I don't think it won
they
any
didn't win
Oscars.
anything.
I don't think that has anything to do necessarily with the some of the factors that we've mentioned. I think it can be very much because it was less important. In that sense, okay, so like in that sense, arts was less important than science was. They viewed Oppenheimer's story and concepts the Oppenheimer movie projected as more important than what Bernstein did to American society.
I can see what you're saying there, but when you watch the movie, they focus much more. They don't focus on his musical contributions as much as his personal life and the turmoil going on in his marriage. And I think if they had focused more on creating a biopic about who he was as a composer and as a conductor, it could have been a beautiful movie. But I mean, I know that Bernstein had, the issues. He was closeted most of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is an issue that should be talked about and brought more awareness to. But it was kind of like all of his work was kind of pushed to the side for the movie just to talk about this issue.
But I think I know the reason why for that as well. It's like because Bernstein also famously said, "If you're depressed, you don't compose, you lie in bed." So he didn't believe in emotional suffering brings out the best musical ideas in a composer. I think that's another reason why, anything that's more dramatic has to stick for movies. I think that's probably one of the reasons why the creators, including Bradley Cooper, probably thought it was going to be a better movie if they focused on his personal life, which I agree. I mean, I think there were many sides to Lenny, as they would say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess as someone who just studies music, I have like an irk with that. But that's because I just have a little bit more knowledge on that than that average day-to-day person would. Maybe the average person would watch that movie and be like, "Oh, that was amazing." But just because I know a little bit more about him and have to, study his works in class and stuff, I just have a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
So I think that I guess I have just a bit more bias on that and more frustration.
I mean,
with
you
it.
are entitled to that because,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why like it's hard because you can't cinematography. Some of the things that Oscars give out awards for, that makes sense. I get it. All right, like there are some technical standards that they can achieve that are better than the others, right? That being said, most of the things that we talk about is what we normally see in a movie. And you can't just judge one movie as better than the others, I don't think, without having a personal bias into it. Which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I think it's I don't know. I think it's all just bullcrap. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it anymore. I used to believe that there was power to artists who won Oscars when I was very, very young. And when I wanted to become an actor, I wanted to win one. But now that I've grown, I guess, I'm like, I don't want to do my artistic things to just win an award. I know that sounds very disrespectful to those who are striving for winning those awards in the future. But to me, that's not enough to motivate me. I think that's another reason why like I don't really enjoy watching award shows now. But yeah, Oscars is always interesting. I prefer I in the recent years, of course, I preferred Golden Globes because of Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Him
I
ex-
haven't watched the Golden Globes, or I didn't watch
Oh
it.
gosh. Well, I don't think he's gonna ever host again.
Probably not.
He. It's very clear that he has contemptuousness towards Hollywood,
And
which is
that's
understandable. You and I both agreed.
fair. He wasn't
That's-
wrong.
Yikes. that was the biggest yikes I've ever experienced watching a joke, because it was not a joke.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I'm glad you kind of got to experience it though, because I think everyone needs to still kind of see it once to kind of see what's the big deal and all of that.
I will say I would never want to like actually go sit through that. Like that would be so boring. When you're at home, you have your snacks. I have my popcorn.
Have a drink.
Yeah. Then it's chill. You get up. I mean, I watched it in my pajamas.
Did you watch it with any like with your roommate or?
Yeah, I watched it with my friends. We actually had like a betting pool.
Okay, yeah.
So it made it fun. I did not win the betting pool because I hadn't seen. I think what really did me in was like I hadn't seen the documentaries. I hadn't seen any of them.
Oh gosh.
And I think that's like what really did me in when I was like, I was just like random ones.
So you kind of well, I guess you say you lost.
Yeah, did not win the bet.
But watch parties are always fun for award shows, because you can make some silly jokes about it after it's over.
Oh, for sure. We're
So-
also like not sitting there like actually watching it the whole time either. We're like
Right.
talking. It's
Yeah.
like I could not actually imagine sitting on the couch and watching the TV for 3.5 hours, or like sitting there. I can't imagine. Like, one thing I was thinking about that like put it into perspective. We were sitting down at 7 p.m. to watch it because we're East Coast time. They started it at 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Can you? I just like can't imagine doing that at like 4 in the afternoon. It feels like such something that should be done in the evening. You know.
Yeah, and especially in California.
Yeah, and they're also like all dressed up.
Sun's up.
Yeah. Like they have these spectacular outfits on, their hair is done, their makeup's done.
Oh,
and
they
they've-
always look incredible, but you know.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't imagine like then like it probably took them 3 hours to get ready.
Oh yeah.
At least. And then another 3 hours of sitting, and then there's the after party. That's a long day.
That's why.
I could not like sit through that and then go to. I would be like, I have to go home. I have to go to bed after sitting through that.
I'm sure it's incredibly draining. That's one of the reasons why, like, I believe the Lord of the Rings team went to the Oscars for their third movie, and they won. They won a lot, actually. I think. They didn't even stay for the after party. They went to a party that that their fan base was having, which I was like, I
That's
might as well
sick.
just have fun with people.
That's so cool. Yeah. Kudos to them. That sounds really cool.
Because, like, I mean, I'm sure not everybody knows everybody in Hollywood,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they see each other a lot. So, like, I heard an interesting story from one of my theater teachers in the past. He said, if I go, like, with a season pass, like, just any season pass, most of the cities have this. If their theater program is developed enough, they have a season pass, right? They have all of the shows scheduled. If you have a season pass, you meet the same 1,100 people every time you go to the performance.
Mm.
At a certain point, and he's done it for 20 years, 25 years, he's met everybody that he could possibly meet in the show business in that town.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Hollywood. It's like, like, sure, you might not know everybody, but you've definitely seen them multiple times. So, you're probably thinking like, oh, gee, gotta see that person again. Or some, of course, maybe like, oh, yay, I get to see that person again.
Yeah. I guess we'll never know. I wish I could be a fly on the wall at the after party.
I don't.
I'm just nosy.
Well, I just don't. I'm nosy too, but I don't want to because I don't want to have some of their images broken in front of me.
Maybe.
Because I'm sure some of them are terrible people. But
Some of them might be great people. You never
I
know.
know, I know.
You never know.
But well, it's good to talk about these things because I have same opinions about music awards too. It's very biased and opinionated, and I don't know. I want everyone to not think of art as a sporting event with the strict score and categories of scores. There's no rubric to determine whether you did a good job or not. Like, you really can't score those arts. And which is another reason why I don't promote watching award shows anymore. Because I don't want them to feel like fine arts is the same thing as sports.
I can kind of see that.
I just think it's unfair. You know? Because they all equally spent their time and money and sweat, blood sweat if not, into making that happen. Same thing with musicians. I mean, I mentioned Chopin competitions. There are numerous piano competitions around the world. And God knows how many hours each pianist has poured in just practicing over and over and over again. Only for them to go up there. Chopin competition, if you pass preliminary rounds, yeah, you get like 25 to maximum of about an hour. But for that, and you want to just judge based on that, my integrity says no to that.
Yeah.
I just find it extremely insulting in so many ways. And I think that has become more stronger. Like, that opinion of mine has only gotten stronger over the years. But again, not everybody has to agree with me. I'm just stating that, like, that's my perspective. I'm sure some other people probably genuinely think, oh no, objectively, this person or this art piece was better. And kudos to you if you can see that objectively. I just don't know enough to have 100% confidence in that decision making.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see that. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like looking at an art form I actually don't know much about, it's kind of like almost easier to see like be like, yeah, this movie should win an Oscar. No, this movie shouldn't win an Oscar. But as someone who is a pianist, judging for piano competitions, I almost feel like it's more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, and again, we talk about a lot of things just between you and me, even on this show and off the record. But, you know, I it's just heartbreaking because that has a real consequence, in my opinion, to the artists. And it just breaks my heart. If it's a good thing for artists, of course, I'm like all for it. But,
I mean, I think that's just how it depends on how some people take competitions or
yeah, I know.
take losing.
I agree.
I mean,
Is there a graceful way to lose?
I think so.
Tell us a little bit. Like, what would be a way for you to accept losing in a graceful manner?
That's a good question. I guess if I was doing a piano competition
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't win, which has happened to me.
Yeah. You've told us.
Which has happened to me
Yeah.
before, which is not a big deal. And I have won some. It's been a long time since I've participated. It was like 6th grade. 7th, 8th grade. I think I did most of my competitions in like middle school, and by the time when I was in high school, I was like, I'm too cool for school. So
Too cool for school?
yeah. But I mean, it's kind of like when your teacher says there's always room to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just kind of looking at it like that. Like, I did the best that I could, but maybe this person is just farther along in their journey than I am.
Mm.
And that's okay. And I'll get to the point in my journey that I want to go to. And they don't have to be the same places that we're trying to get to. But just kind of seeing that, like, okay, I didn't win, but they might have had something that I didn't have, and that's okay. And I'm going to just keep going on my own journey. And if I win the next one, then it was meant to be, I guess. As long as you're putting forth the energy and the effort, paying the right homage to the piece, all those things. I don't have a competitive bone in my body. Like, I'm just not a competitive person.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe for some people that are super competitive, they would have a different perspective into it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
which is like why I stopped competing, or like stopped doing competitions, because I was like, I just don't care.
you don't have enough energy to care about competition.
Pretty much.
I guess that's what you mean by like not having competitiveness in your bone.
Yeah, because it's like I enjoy playing for myself and like for other people, but not in a way that's like, who's gonna play better.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a good feeling either. But, I guess there are still some things that's more objective than the other. So, like I said, that's just my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that, oh, he says the competition is bad, so, I shouldn't compete. That's not at all what I mean. I mean, to be completely honest, if you want to make money, you have to compete. So that's the saddest, most tragic notion behind competition in the arts. So that's really unfortunate. But if you want to make a living based on what you do and it happens to be fine arts, you have to compete. But arguably, I guess in a lot of areas, you do have to compete so that you can get money. At least in American society. I don't know about other societies. I can't tell you because I haven't been to everywhere.
Me neither.
So we're finding out together.
Yep.
In some way, shape, or form. Well, that was a good conversation, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's end this episode here.
Sounds good.